Welcome to the Best Little Town Podcast, your go-to source for everything happening in the town of Bedford's local government. Whether it's new initiatives or important decisions shaping our town's future, you'll hear it right here. Brought to you by Grove Street FM and hosted by Town Manager Bart Warner. This podcast is dedicated to keeping our residents informed and engaged.
Good morning, listeners, and welcome to the Best Little Town Podcast. I'm Bart Warner, Town Manager for the town of Bedford, and here to talk to you about some of the goings-on with Town Council and at the administrative level with your town government. Today is Wednesday, January 24th, which, of course, means yesterday was Tuesday, and we had a council meeting last night in the council chambers. We were able to return to our regular meeting venue after our elevator issues were resolved. I want to say thanks again to our neighbors in Bedford County who hosted us for the last council meeting, and also to the Bedford County School Board, specifically Superintendent Mark Bergen and County Administrator Robert Hiss for being good neighbors. Again, we appreciate that and don't take it for granted. Last night's meeting had a lot of what I'll term administrative issues, and I'll try to provide some more in-depth information in a way that doesn't bore you to tears. Of course, we began with appearances before council from folks in the community, and Ken Parker with the Bedford Boys Tribute Center on North Bridge Street spoke and noted that he and his wife Linda recently produced a movie about the Bedford Boys titled We Have Casualties. And Ken has those available at the Tribute Center for viewing and I think for sale. Also, he has made arrangements with the folks at I think Delta and American Airlines to have that featured on all European-bound flights. And I think that's already underway, which if you have not visited the Bedford Boys Tribute Center, I would encourage you to do so. Ken has kind of taken that on as Ken and Linda both, a personal avocation based on their appreciation for the sacrifices of the Bedford Boys. Ken has done an extensive amount of research into the private personalities of each of them and can tell you some amazing details that are both educational and will really, I think, touch your own heart and make you appreciate what those gentlemen did back in 1944 and also kind of how that connects to the community. So again, that's the Bedford Boys Tribute Center on North Bridge Street, right near the corner of Bridge and Main. So I would encourage you to stop by and check it out. Also, last night, the council comments, they talked about the fact that they had engaged in a strategic planning retreat this past Saturday morning. It's the first time they'd done that in a while. And it was good to kind of get them together to talk about the direction of the town, what they wanted to see. We talked about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and good team building exercise, I believe, all around for council. The department heads were also there and were able to kind of listen into that vision. And we feel like we have our marching orders in terms of what we need to pursue in the coming year, particularly as part of the budget formation. The regular meeting agenda, again, a lot of administrative items, but the first thing that might be of interest to folks, I'll let the train go by before I continue to speak. And there she was. First item of new business was a request for an extension for the performance agreement for a business class hotel. That relates to the fact that Hampton Inn is going to be constructing a brand new hotel up on Burks Hill Road at the base of the hill where the D-Day Memorial is located. That will also feature a business convention facility. Originally, they were set to break ground on that, I think, this month. But that's going to be delayed a bit, but the reason behind that is probably pretty good news for most of us. Hilton is in the process of upgrading their Hampton brand. They do that every so often. And part of that is changing the floor plans a little bit, making them more modern, up to date, presumably a lot more comfortable. And they do that, I think, as often as they can, but the last time they did that was in 2017. They're in the process of changing their prototype for Hampton Inns, and they approached the developer, Mr. Amit Patel, about that and mentioned that he had the option of going ahead with the current prototype, which is the 2017 model, or waiting just a few months to get the new prototype in place. Mr. Patel explained that he thought that it was a good idea for us to have the brand new model here in Bedford. The Town Economic Development Authority concurred with that, and last night council did as well. So basically the end result of that is we will see activity on that site probably in the fall. I think he said September is what we're talking about, but the new Hampton Inn in Bedford will be one of the first in the world to have the brand new prototype. So another good reason to be excited. In addition to the fact we're getting something new, we're getting something brand new. A couple of items from the finance department last night related to our personal property tax collections and our electric bill collections. And I'm pleased to report that our treasurer's office has been doing a really great job of making sure that we cover our bills and that the taxes are paid. Last night they reported that our collection rate for the 5-year period where we consider write-offs is 99.35%. Basically what we do is we have to keep things on the record for about 5 years. At some point they're deemed uncollectible, and we kind of set those aside. We take the amount that's left after 5 years and we take it off of our current records, but we also keep open the idea that we can collect it later. The amount of money that we had left over back from 5 years ago was $666.61, again, representing a collection rate of 99.35%. So we appreciate the efforts of the treasurer's office to collect that. Of course, we certainly appreciate the taxpayers who voluntarily contribute that and help us out and get it done in an efficient way. We know nobody is happy about paying their taxes, but we do appreciate that and the fact that folks do it in a timely manner. Same is true on the electric utility. We bill a large number of customers every month for electric services. And again, after a certain point of time, we realize that there's accounts outstanding that probably are not going to be collected for whatever reason. But again, pleased to report that our collection rate in 2018 was 99.88%. So that means that, the folks who use the electricity are paying their bills on time and cooperating with our staff to keep that utility operating in good financial shape, but also on a practical basis, providing the resources we need to keep the lights on, keep the heat on this time of year. Somewhat related to that was another item of new business last night, which was council's decision to award a mid-year gratitude bonus to our employees. Our employees are paid pretty well, and I know we, speaking as one of them, we appreciate that and where that money comes from. But we're constantly trying to make sure that we're competitive with the other localities around us who recognize that we have good employees, and when they have a chance, try to steal them away from us if they get a chance. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. But in light of that, council tries to make sure that we offer a competitive wage, and we do that through a variety of means. Some of that is salary, some of that is merit increases, and some of that is sometimes cases like last night where council recognizes that we're in a good financial position based on the efforts of the employees, and so they can return some of that back to them. Last night, council authorized a one-time $1,500 bonus for each full-time employee and a $250 bonus for each part-time employee. And that money was covered by good performance in the budget by our investments. Those of you who pay attention to interest rates know that those are up a little bit more than they have been. So the earnings that the town was able to realize based on that performance, as well as some contingency money that we had budgeted, allowed them to give a little bit back to the employees. And council did that with their compliments and their appreciation. And I know from my perspective, the employees are very appreciative as well. I forgot to mention at the beginning that in our council comments and in my report, we noted that our colleague D.W. Lawhorn is moving on to assume the position of Assistant County Administrator with Bedford County. DW has been a long-time employee of ours. He's been with us since 1998. And whereas we're sorry to see him go from a selfish perspective, it's a great professional opportunity for him. We're very proud of his accomplishment. And hey, we'll compliment our neighbors in Bedford County for recognizing good talent. The good part of that for all of us is DW is going to be in a position to continue to serve us as citizens and colleagues. And we look forward to that new professional relationship with him. Getting back to the agenda, most people don't know that we have a bus service here in town. That's the Bedford Otter bus, which serves a route within town 4 days a week. It's funded through a grant from the Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation, as well as contributions from the Bedford Community Health Foundation. And currently, you can get on the bus on any of those 4 days. There's no cost, and they'll deliver you to anywhere along the route that you want to go to. One of the councilmen noted that a friend of theirs used the bus to go to Walmart when their car was in the shop, and they enjoyed it so much that they just stayed on the bus and rode the entire circuit. Something else that they mentioned was the fact that the Otter bus offered a Christmas light viewing event this past holiday season as well. So, we talk about the size of Bedford and the scale of things here, but we have a lot of big city amenities in our small little town, one of which is we have a public transit service. Now, in order to keep that going, again, it's currently operated through a grant from the state, which provides 80% of the funding, and a match from the Bedford Community Health Foundation, which covers the other 20%. We're in currently the last phase of that, and that's what council approved last night, was a letter of support to apply for another round of that funding from the state and from the Health Foundation. We also talked about another grant application to provide support for that, again, to keep it at a low cost, currently no cost to the town operation, and also to the riders. At some point, we may have to talk about a situation where there are fares, but we'll also maybe talking about expansion of the route where there are more opportunities for individual on-call use of it for specific destinations, and potentially expanding the route to things such as new development and maybe someday a train station. So last night, council affirmed their support for those activities by supporting those grants. Another thing that came up, this is another bit of residue from our recent boundary adjustment. When we took in the territory for Phase 2, there were also some streets which were maintained by the Virginia Department of Transportation that the town assumed responsibility for. VDOT still provides a great deal of funding to the town for maintenance of streets, and in order to obtain that funding, there's a process that we have to go through, and the dates associated with that are fairly specific. The reason this came up is that in order for VDOT to provide that funding for the town to assist us in our efforts, we have to let them know by February 1st of each year that we intend to do that and that we are accepting more streets into our system. Ideally, that would have happened concurrent with the boundary adjustment. Unfortunately, the official date for that was July 1st, whereas that deadline to get it into the VDOT system and get that money from VDOT would have been February 1st. Essentially, what that means is the town has been maintaining the streets in the Phase 2 area, which are town streets, with town funding and town resources. But as a result of the action taken last night, VDOT will then contribute some maintenance funds as well to offset the local costs. And we do want our customers and citizens to know that that's something that we're always looking at. Services cost money, but we do our best to keep those costs low and to make sure that the efficiency of the service relates to that cost. The other item from last night was some formal training for council members provided by our attorney, Mike Lockaby, related to the Freedom of Information Act. Mike is a pretty well-recognized expert in that field, which is good for us because council members are required on a every other year basis to receive this training, and that's a matter of state law. But whenever there are new council members, they have to have that training as well. So since we welcomed 2 members to council this year, Mr. Foreman and Mr. Updike, Mike provided that training, It was part of the open meeting too, so everybody can kind of see what information was shared. And hey, transparency and openness is at the heart of FOIA anyway. So we're grateful to Mike for providing that training, good interaction from council, and that was the administrative stuff in terms of what's happening with your town government. We continue to move forward with plans and accommodating growth and interest in our community that seems to be expanding every day. We are in the midst of our budget process. Staff produces that and submits a proposal to council. We'll probably have that wrapped up in the next month. Process there is once we deliver a balanced budget, we let council decide what they want to do with it. So we do encourage you to contact us at any time. Of course, the main number at Town Hall is 540-587-6001. Or you can contact me directly at 587-6022 or by email at bwarner@bedfordva.gov. We're always interested in your feedback, your suggestions. Yes, we're also willing to accept your criticism because if there's a problem, we need to know about it. And oftentimes, we may not know about it unless you point it out to us. So we encourage this level of communication. And hey, that's why I'm here this morning on this podcast too. So let us know what you think about things in town. Let us know what you'd like to see. Let us know what you need more of or less of. And if things are generally okay, you can let us know that too, and we'll appreciate it. As always, I consider myself blessed to be part of this community. We appreciate our leaders and our neighbors. We encourage you to stay involved, be involved, keep us accountable, and stay warm and dry as the winter progresses. Wishing you all the best till we're with you again. This has been the Best Little Town Podcast.